During the financial crisis, we saw unprecedented levels of action on the part of the governments and the central banks. We are here a decade later and still watching governments scramble to keep the system afloat. Eventually, we will be faced with another crisis, most likely larger than what we faced a decade ago. The question is, what will they do to rescue the system? You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. I want to ask you, the viewer, what will they do in order to save this system the next time around? We had QE programs, bailouts, bail-ins. We've had all sorts of new taxes that have been added. We've had them slashing this and that. We've seen them take away more from the average person since that 10 years ago time frame. And today, the average person is left with less. So, the next crisis, whenever that will be. Some say it could happen within a year. Others say as far as 2021. But look at where interest rates have gone. Look at where they are today. And understand what firepower do they have left. They are starting to wean back on their QE programs. They are increasing interest rates. And we have to start asking the questions. What will they do next time around? In the previous instance, we saw Ben Bernanke starting off this QE, something that was never done before. The central bank intervening into the market, directly buying up trillions and trillions of dollars of garbage. They then went out to the whole world and printed at least $16 trillion in the span of just a few years, gave it out all around the world, and never told anyone. That $16 trillion never made it to their balance sheet. So when we look at their balance sheet as being, let's say, 4 trillion, it's actually 20 trillion that we know of. So will they engage in more quantitative easing next time around? What about bail-ins? We saw the bail-ins taking place, most notably in Cyprus. These are of limited accounts. This is a new method of going directly to the people and taking their money. They extracted money from individuals' accounts in order to, quote, recapitalize the banks. Will they do bank bail-ins? And of course, we have bailouts. Whether this is perhaps part of the TARP type bailout or any other, we will see these continuing to take place. Last time around, they claimed that they actually profited from doing this. I don't know about you. I didn't see any benefits. I didn't receive a check in the mail. I didn't get favorable interest as a result. I didn't get free opportunities, lots of business heading my way. It seems like a select few companies and a select few individuals got a really good deal out of it. So I ask you, will there be bailouts next time around? We can see that there are public works projects that take place in order to get the economy continuously moving. They want the growth to be there, whether that is in China, like this picture, or anywhere else around the world. Public works are a way for governments to create stimulus, create demand that does not exist, as long as it means people are working, therefore people are spending, and they're keeping that activity going. Whether it is building bridges to nowhere or empty cities, I would at least suggest to everybody that public works are better than QE. I would agree to that. And so again, I ask you, will they engage in public works projects the next time around? Or will they do something they haven't done in 100 years? This is the Depression of 1920. I referred to it in my first book as the ghost crash because nobody knows about it. I'm not talking about 1929. I'm talking about 1920. You're looking at the Dow Jones here. We saw this depression. By the way, they were always called a depression before 1929. It's not just a crash. But that name sort of stuck with people, so they decided to end it there. This came down very rapidly, a significant crash, in fact. And despite the fact that the Federal Reserve had been implemented for years at this point, they were there, they were able to act, they did not. They did not intervene in the market. And very, very quickly, they were able to get this market up because they slashed government spending by 60%, if memory serves correct. And this was able to get more money into the hands of the people. The people started to see real investment out there. And so money started to come in. But the Federal Reserve did not act. The government slashed spending. They didn't go out there and do a TARP bailout. This was the general theme of my first book, where I said, this is the solution, and here are all the following instances when government reacted, and look how long it takes for the market to come back up. In this instance here, it was approximately a year and a half, and the market was back up and sailing. Today, it takes 10 years, 15 years in some cases, some markets, because of the amount of intervention. And just look at the Japanese market. It'll probably never come back unless they completely hyperinflate the currency. So I ask you this. Will they not intervene next time around? If you found this video informative, please give me a thumbs up. I wanted to do a little thing, different this time, and ask you what you think. I want to invite you to my website, themoneygps.com. Lots of free stuff here. I've got my free e-course for everybody to check out, because that can get people who are not necessarily too interested on the in-depth look at the financial system, but you want to know what a stock is, you want to know what bonds are, you want to know what inflation is, and bear markets and bull markets. All of that is explained in my free e-course. So maybe not for yourself, but maybe somebody that you want to get them just introduced into it. The free e-course is where it's at. So you can just click on there, watch all the videos for yourself. I got more stuff on here as well, themoneygps.com.